Hello, welcome back. Hi. My name is Jose. So I wanted to talk about something specific, but not too specific, but yet I think will give some sort of insight. It gave me insight um, onto what the previous 2,000 years have been, or where we are headed now. Astrologically, that's just what's called the Age of Pisces into the Age of Aquarius. For those who are new to my channel, by the way, my name is Jose. I like to coin the term microastrologer, where I work specifically with little details and pinpointing specific areas in not only through astrology, but in life as well, because I'm using my pedanticalness, if you may, to provide some insights into what I feel is strongly, well, at least for me, makes sense. Okay. So here we go. So the thing with today, right? People say it's it's the age of Aquarius. Okay, it's the age of whatever enlightenment or age of I don't know information. I call it the age of choice. Now, before we get into the whole age of choice, which I might or may not come back to, somehow it'll circle around. The insight I got recently with just the whole like what we think about today in terms of what we're doing, because I was watching a video on how we're doing things where a lot of it is tied to technology and how sometimes we're going to this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, and it's just multi-directional, but it's not focused, it's not meaningful. And take it from me, who has Sun conjunct Pluto in their chart, trine Moon. For those who know what I'm talking about, they they might know what I'm talking about. The point is not that. The point is um, that I always wanted genuineness, but I usually kind of just project it onto other people. I started realizing to myself, like, what is this that I actually want from myself? So how does this tie into what I'm talking about? So when it comes to where we were before, which is represented by the Age of Pisces, a lot of it is tied to subconscious behaviors, which in its shadow is Virgo. The shadow of Pisces is Virgo. What that means is that Virgo, because Virgo rules also the unconscious, the sixth house in astrology, and Pisces rules the 12th house. They're both tied to things that we're not really aware of. In this day and age, we are being called to bring everything that was underneath to the surface. That's why even right now, as we're talking, like for the next 30, 40 years, um, Pluto will be transiting the sign of Aquarius, which fits in perfectly with where we are starting with the age of Aquarius. But what does that mean in terms of like how we evolve as humans? What do we do also on an individual level? There's no real solution specifically, but it's more like what we discovered inwards. I was actually just posting something on this recording. I was going out to the park and I was recording what I thought was like very beautiful insight into this thing with right now where the South Node is in Virgo, North Node is in Pisces. But with the feeling of Pisces in the North Node, it's almost like a reminder of a residual effect from the previous 2,000 years, or give it or take 100 or so, whatever. Um, that we were so caught up with just, what do you call this? It was overuse of belief. It was overuse of faith. It was overuse of inspiration. It was overuse of transcendence, where we were no longer in reality and we're no longer integrating what we're the reality of what we're in the temporary physical world with the eternal soul itself, like the eternal part ourselves, because we come in here. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, that's not the point. The what point is we have to learn how to be integrating things into our life. So that includes something that came to me when it came to the video that I was watching with this person like, saying that with social media it's hard to get people, especially if you are wanting to monetize things or if you wanted to make something meaningful, whatever it is, something that is substantial. And that's part of the age of Aquarius too. Age Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, its modern ruler, but it's also ruled by the traditional ruler Saturn. Saturn is material, calcification, hard work, lessons, karma, teaching, being a teacher, learning from lessons. It's slow, it's grinding, it's polishing. But it's also very similar to Pluto today, which is about polishing, getting to the deep depths of things, the truth, inner core truth, all that shit, all that like disgusting things that we tend to say, ew, gross, so resistance. It is the gateway to the shadow work, inward work, things that we project onto others become something that is actually true in ourselves. When we do that, we're no longer in resistance to our external environment. Instead, we change our perception from the inner environment, and actually our outer environment changes because that takes time. Both of these planets represent slow movements, specifically Pluto as well. It's very slow. So that means it takes time. That also ties in with what I just saw in the video where we're talking about we're being called to do something more genuine and something where long-term content is actually beneficial because when I say long-term content, I don't necessarily mean for the sake of what the video was about, more like meaningful content. People are looking for things that are meaningful. So what does that mean in terms of how before we were, the age before into the age that we're in right now? First of all, one, it's not really about ages. Number two, it's a transitional, I guess you can say it's a lesson that we humans have to learn. We have to go through this. But the real important message here is that the gift of the previous age of the past 2000 years was more about embodying or making use of the magic of belief itself so that when we believe in something so strongly, we share it with others, and that inspires them to shine, to do their work, to do whatever it is that they're called to, whatever inspires them. As Bashar puts it, it's your highest excitement. Idealism is tied to the sign of Pisces. So but it's also tied to its shadow, which is like looking at the little things now. That's why we get in technology. It's ironic, and that's funny because Virgo is also about science. Virgo ties in with the Age of Aquarius that we're going into, which is the shadow of Pisces. So it goes into this whole technological age of making use of AI or technology itself in general. Every time technology happens, there's something new, something changes, but it's up to us individually and collectively to choose what we want to do about it. Because everything in the universe, or at least in this universe, is neutral. What meaning we give it changes it. So, in other words, thoughts that repeat become emotions, emotions become beliefs, and beliefs become action. Right, so it's those little things that we're being called into. That's the shadow of Pisces. But in that time, the past 2000 years, we were just going by things, following what people told us. It's so Pisces, right? Vacillating. But now we're being called to say, let's bring that awareness and use the so-called vacillating effect of like the water to flow to trust what's coming up ahead, but at the same time putting in the work. That's the Pisces Virgo polarity. We have to put in the work. It can't just be like one, it is kind of feels like it's almost multi-directional, but it's not. It's focused energy, but at the same time, timed what is organic. The Age of Aquarius is bringing this forward and bringing awareness to that stuff. Many people probably already heard of this. Maybe they felt it. Maybe you guys have already sensed it in yourself. Intrinsically, you know it, intuitively, instinctively, whatever. The point I'm making right now is that the insight I got was like how we're headed towards this new age, which we're already in right now, is bringing awareness to what was and still integrating what was into now. Let's not escape things like even like beliefs, belief systems, and all that stuff. Even as we're going into the AI stuff, let's not also resist the future. We need to integrate both as part of our evolution as a species. So hopefully that made sense. I just wanted to post that quickly. I just wanted to share that because it came as in I was like, oh, that's wonderful. Okay. A little bit more did a tiny bit in depth into all this stuff. So how do we move into the next age as we're moving into this stuff? Well, one of them is of course relating with other people. As Teal Swan puts in her videos, we are a social species, right? We need people. We need that community and stuff like that, right? That came from the age of Leo when it first started, when humanity started realizing its ego, or rather, an additional ego. I believe that there are more ages that came before that that was part of the evolutionary process of humans, right? The lessons we've had to learn ongoingly. And we're going through that right now. So going back to what I said, what can we do right now? Well, generally speaking, I can't be that specific because every person is unique. But at the same time, we're all in this uniformly. So uniqueness with uniformity. Um, with the Age of Aquarius, as you can say, let's put it that way, Age of Aquarius. We're being called to work together. We're being called to share information, but we also have to balance with where that information goes. We have to pick and choose what is valuable to us individually and also collectively, or just at least in a little niche or little enclave, if that makes sense, right? A little, whatever, wherever we are, whatever works for us. It doesn't have to be specifically this, what we're talking about. It could be just your family, it could be your group of friends, it could be your job, it could be your career, it could be the dogs that you take care of, it could be the organization you belong to, it could be your home, right? And really integrating everything. It's really all ties to integration, right? The age of Aquarius is ruled by two planets for a reason, and it's integration both into what was and what will be. So we become timeless. That's the whole, that's the whole, it's both literal and also analogous, also or figurative meaning of the split, right? The split that we're some people have probably seen has nothing to do with like only going in one direction, choosing sides. One is uniformity, or in other words, uh, inclusion and including everything. So integration, really integration, or isolation, and just kind of like just But at the same time, it's not good or bad. It's just that some people will choose not to be inclusive. Some will be exclusive, if that makes sense, right? Or integrated, but not, or non-integrative. Either way, we're being taught, we're being called to learn that. And the lessons will keep repeating itself. That's what it is. The Earth's vibration is coming up because she is responding to what we do. This is what I recently learned. But it made sense to me how this makes sense, at least from my experience, that it's like I've had to learn to really integrate all my pain. Like, like for example, my pain is tied to um a reputation and all that stuff. Like, like even like my YouTube channel, it's like not many people see my YouTube channel. It's not, so I'm gonna go into that one, which totally is kind of making me excited. So I'm in the right path, but it's like because there's a reason why I saw that video, and I was just like, oh, that's wonderful. So I've been doing this, I've been in this all along. I've been doing this the right way. What works for me at least. Right. So yeah, so that was just the insight I got. Um, yeah, if you have any comments, let me know. I wish to connect with people. That's always what I feel like, such a Libra thing. Inclusiveness is important to me with the Moon in Aquarius thing. Long story. I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.